All right, hello to the group. John Sturr here from Holiday, Utah. I want to talk about fishing reels, and I want to talk about how to um, wisely discriminate and purchase a good, decent reel based upon what you want to get out of it. So I have a couple of examples here. I have the um, Zebco Abu Cardinal series, and then I have the Abu Garcia Cardinal series, and then I also have the Abu Garcia Zenon, Zenon Beast, or correction, Revo Beast, and I also have the Zenon Beast. But what I want to go through is about a year and a half ago, when I got into this whole mess of fishing, because I took about a 35-year hiatus since the 80s. I haven't been seriously fishing since. Everything had changed on the reel market. The reels were different. And that was a bit frustrating because I didn't know what to do and what to look for and everything else. So I got four things that's going to determine a good reel: price, brand, construction, and bearings. And bearings is probably the most important part of this whole process of discovery. But I'll get to that in a second. Price. I wouldn't spend more than $250 on a reel. This Revo Beast was a closeout. I purchased it for $135 from eBay. Retailed, as I look at my notes, somewhere around $250, something like that, for the Revo Beast series. Love this reel. I think they're great. And they have 10 ball bearings. I'll get to the bearings again in a moment. This is the Revo Zen, or the Abu Garcia Zenon. They don't make this model anymore, but this model retailed for $550. I picked it up for $235 off the eBay on closeout. Would I buy this again? No, I wouldn't buy it again. It's too lightweight. It's too light, and the Beast is better because it has a bigger gear. This is the same as the Beast, and it has 10 ball bearings, just like the Beast. But it doesn't balance. It doesn't balance whatsoever. And I don't like that in a reel. Brand. You got to look at brand. I don't know if you're a Daiwa fan, a Shimano fan, or Abu Garcia fan, but go with what you know on brands. I didn't know anything about those guys. I knew a little bit because I'm in the bait casters, and I really like the Shimano bait casters, but the spinning reels, for some reason, I decided to go with Abu. And Abu is not a very well-liked brand in the fishing industry for some reason. They're a bit of an outcast. For instance, Daiwa and Shimano, it is said that they produce their own reels in their own factories. Of course, they produce their own reels. They produce their reels in their own factories, whereas Abu farms it out. I don't think it makes any difference. I think it's all the same when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, because this stuff isn't rocket science. Okay, construction. You got to look at the design. These new reels are so fragile. You don't even want to get sand in them. You don't even want to do nothing. Whereas the Zebco Abu series, man, you could beat these things up, and these are great. And these only have two ball bearings, and they're amazing. But these you got to treat with kid gloves, and you got to do the maintenance on these. So be prepared to do the maintenance. Okay, bearings. The number one discriminator for me in finding a great reel are the number of bearings in the reel, because that's going to tell me a few things. It's going to tell me that more bearings is good, because there are reels with 10 bearings. And it tells me that the design intent of the reel designer is that it needs bearings. It needs a lot of bearings to be good stuff. And so that's what I looked for. This has 10 bearings. The Zenon has 10 bearings. This only has 2 bearings. But that's part of the deal. That's how they designed this, and it's bulletproof. And the bail closes so well. This I thought was going to be a part of the equation that I needed to pay attention to, but it isn't, because the bail closure mechanism is an afterthought. Why? Because everybody now closes it by hand. That's what they do. They just close it by hand, just like that. So this whole process of being able to easily close the bail with the handle, look how good this is. This is incredible. And this was made, as I look in the date, in 1984. You can't do that with today's reels. Go to the sporting goods stores in your areas, whether it's Bass Pro or Cabela's or yada yada, and try all the reels that are on display and see if you can get them to close like that. And you won't. You won't, even with the most expensive reels on the list. The $550, $600 reels, they will hang, they will get stuck. They are not, and that's frustrating to me, because that's what you're spending money for, all that engineering. Even on this one, even on this, it is just like butter. Okay, I'm living in the past. Also, you got to look at the line guide or the line roller or whatever that thing is called. You got to make sure that has some attention to detail on the system. But, you know, with a very expensive reel, they're going to spend some time on that design. Price, I think $150 tops for the best reel. Look for closeouts. Look on eBay. Look on the Japan websites, on Asian Portal Fishing, and then the Japan Lure Shop. They have Revo Beasts on sale for $150, last year's model. The brand, like I said, Shimano, Daiwa, Piscifun, Abu Garcia. With the off brands like Piscifun, that's a tough one. I don't know if I do that. I don't know if I do that. Construction, that's a tough one too, to try to understand which design is better than the others. And then the bearings. You got to look at bearings. You got to make sure that the reel has enough bearings, and then it has to be serviceable too. You know, it has to be able to be fixed. I will probably send my Abu Garcias in every 2 years. I don't think, I wasn't necessarily too hard on them this year. I didn't drop them in the sand or, you know, in the dirt or different things. So I'm thinking every 2 years I'll send it to my reel place in Iowa to get torn down and everything else. And then you got to do the maintenance on those reels too. Or here's the other thing you can do. You can buy a cheap reel, a $75 reel, and then don't do nothing to it and use it till it dies. And it should give you 2 to 3 years, I would imagine, unless something crazy breaks on it, or you gum it all up with dirt and everything else. But you should easily get 3 years out of a reel, easily, even the cheapest reel with the less bearings and everything else. These older reels wind the line differently and less even than the new reels. Keep that in mind. That's what I found. The new reels do a great kind of a cross weave as they're winding it on to make it all really nice, dress right dress. But the older stuff, it's a little more difficult. Especially when you're using this really fine weave, you know. Whereas the monofilament is thicker and it's easier to manage on an older system. Okay, I hope this helped. Try to understand what's going on, and like I said, a lot of it is based on the price. A lot of it is the price. So that's it. Cheers.